All right, guys, this is Norval Central coming back at another YouTube video. And I have James with FearingTheSpear.com back with me again. This is super exciting because James has been a pivotal part in terms of following for me on my Twitter account, has been wanting to do some YouTube videos for me for quite some time. I finally got him on, and we're trying to collaborate some stuff together, getting a whole lot of new people in here to talk about Florida State football because what an exciting time it is to be a Nole. James, how are you doing today, man?
Man, I tell you what, I'm good. When I can be on here and compete with no highlights to get some highlights of my own, I feel really blessed right now. You got some hot commodities coming on, man. So I got to get on here more. Get no highlights out of here.
Hey man, we got to get us all three on there one day. We gotta definitely chop it up because I know he'll be super excited. He's been doing a lot of different videos with some players and everything, and he's been definitely helping me out with terms of getting some social media stuff out as well. So super exciting. But today we're actually going to be talking about some stuff that I get a lot of questions about on my Instagram account. This is talking about what positions do we need to go after in the transfer portal in terms of position. And I'll go ahead and see what your thought process is because, like I said, Florida State has about, I think, 88 or 89 scholarship players. I have to go back and look at the count again.
I
But
think it's
just
80.
is it what now?
I think it's 88, but I'm not sure.
88. Okay. So we still have to get three rid, to get the 85 allotment. There's going to be a couple more that leave plus that. And you're probably going to see Florida State go after some transfer portal prospects in terms of that. At the number three position, because we're just going to do a top three in terms of wants, in terms of the transfer portal. What is your number three pick in terms of the transfer portal with getting positions at the selected positions?
Is number three the most or the least?
The least.
The least. All right. So football is one in the trenches. I think the least amounts right now, the one position, or it's really two positions, and this can be three and two for
Yeah.
me. The needs that they don't need, but they should always go after would be defensive line and offensive line. I don't think, and you could write those one of those three, one, two, one, three, one, two, and it's not gonna waver anything. I think you got to keep going after the offensive line, defensive line. You got to protect your obviously your quarterback, your running back to get the ball out to move the ball up the field, especially on the O line. D line, you want to get pressure so your defensive backs and your safeties and your linebackers can get more pressure or drop into coverage, do what they got to do. So for me, three and two is offense and defensive line. It's
Okay.
not, but it's not bad to have.
Yeah. Right. I agree with you. Who is your number one in terms of want for this? I think we'll probably have the same number one.
And I'm just going to be honest with you. I think obviously the biggest need, the biggest one right now is going to be your safety. Whether a strong safety, free safety, you got to lock up the safety spot. Whether that's out of the portal, whether that's going out there and getting a Jaheim Singletary from Georgia that's in the portal, putting him in a linebacker, or seeing if he wants to move over to a safety. I've been high on Jaheim Singletary since he's been in the portal, since he announced he was coming, before he even announced he was coming, it was released he was coming. I have been all over it, like white on rice, like whatever. It's one of those. He's one of those players that's a hot commodity, and you have to go make room for it if there's mutual interest. And that's just my personal opinion, and nobody can change my opinion on that. If
Yeah,
he's out there and Florida State get him, Florida State needs to get him.
I agree with you, man. I definitely think that that's something that you definitely need to go after. I'll go ahead and say my number three. I think edge rusher is probably going to be your best bet. I think it never hurts to go after the quarterback at an efficient rate. You have a Jared Verse that is probably going to be in his last year. You never know what happens with Patrick Payton. I just released a video with Noel's highlights yesterday about Patrick Payton. Go check that out. But him being a redshirt sophomore, you never know if he has a breakout year, 7 or 8 sacks. He may try to go pro or something like that. Edmond, maybe another guy from South Carolina, could have another reach as well. And you got some talented young guys there, but I think you kind of need to mix the balance in terms of having experience and also with some of the younger guys. So I definitely think edge rusher, if you can get one, definitely think that should be part of your factors with everything. like you said, defensive line, you can never go wrong with battling in the trenches. Second, I will definitely say linebacker, and we actually discussed this yesterday when we talked about the Quade Birdsong in terms of linebackers. The depth is not the greatest in the world. You have Kalen DeLoach, Tatum Bethune, Brendan Gant that are all redshirt seniors. You're trying to find more pieces in that linebacker room. Can a DJ Lundy step up? Can a Steven Dix with his injury step up? I mean, can a DeMarco Ward or a Blake Nicholson? I mean, there's guys there that are successful, but can they step up in terms of being that 80-plus tackler? Who knows? I mean, Tatum Bethune and Kalen DeLoach are probably two of the better ACC linebackers that you have in the conference. So it's just a matter of time to see if Florida State will be able to add more in terms of young pieces for that linebacker core. First, I would definitely have to say the safety position. I think that's the most important position on the field in terms of that because Akeem Dent got injured in the Oklahoma game. We're kind of figuring out how the severity is of that injury. I think it's very important for Florida State to be able to get him back for the spring, and that way he can kind of acclimate with his teammates, especially since Jamie Robinson is going to be declare for the draft. We're trying to see that situation. Who's going to step up at that other safety position? Will it be a Shaheem Brown? Will it be a Conrad Hussey that comes in the fall or in the summer? Excuse me. Will it be a KJ Kirkland that steps up? Maybe a Quindarius Jones. I mean, there's going to have to be a guy that steps up there, and maybe a Renato Green from corner moves over to safety. Maybe that helps with everything. Maybe if you can't find somebody, but it just seems like somebody is going to have to move over from that cornerback room if they do not get a guy in the transfer portal. And we can talk about Jaheim Singletary, but the fact of the matter is the drop ad date's already passed from the 12th, and you're kind of looking at some other schools. And unless an admin gets an approval for some of these classes and everything for him to come on and enroll, it's going to be a pretty tough challenge the more you go on and the days go on without it. So, I mean, it just seems like Florida State's kind of in a pickle, and you're going to probably have to go into spring practice and after the spring game for some of those more elite guys to come in, and hopefully you can find a safety then. But yeah, safety definitely has to be the number one priority, especially for this defense. But
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what's going to happen is
hmm,
we're going to see a young player, whether it's a freshman or sophomore,
I agree.
step up into the call for the safety position. Now, whether that hurts Florida State or hurts them or helps them, I don't know. But the main goal and the main goal is they have to go into week one against LSU healthy.
Yep.
If they do not go into week one against LSU healthy, I'm just going to tell you, and it's going to make people mad, but they don't come out of there
Yeah.
winners. I'm sorry. But you got to be healthy and you got to be on your A game. And everybody, the position that they're in to play for, they have to be on their A game. And if you don't have that, it's not going to be good.
I got one last question for you. We got about 3.5 minutes left. Azaria Thomas at the safety position. Do you think there's any potential or possibility in that, or maybe even a Marion Cooper or somebody like that that can step over from corner to safety, other than the obvious choice of Renato Green that's already played there?
I think if it comes down to it and has to be an option, it has to be an option.
Yeah.
Anybody anybody that's able to play football and has that size on them that can move over has to be willing to move over if there's nobody in a healthy spot to do that.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and mention this too because I know I'll get some in the comments about this. I also think Travis Jay is more of a experimental safety. I don't quite know if he's going to have enough in the tank to make a contribution because he did not make one last year after being the starting corner the year before against Notre Dame, and you kind of saw the downward spiral with that. But hopefully he gets back on the right track. But maybe a move to safety potentially full time and getting those reps and everything can be the kind of stepping stone that he needs to kind of get his confidence back. And maybe that might be a move that Florida State makes. And just in terms of depth, I mean, you got Jarquez McClellan that is no longer going to be with Florida State anymore, and he's graduating and going to the NFL draft at that point. And wishing him all the best. But you just have to look at some of those numbers that you have at the safety position, and you just have to continue to fill those needs. And like the other needs that we mentioned, I think there's a lot of question marks, specifically on the defense side of the ball, that you're going to have to address in terms of depth. I think Florida State is very talented on offense and on defense, but I think necessarily you just need to continue to add talent when you can add talent, because everyone is talking about ACC championship hopes and also talking about some other national championship hopes as well. I don't know if you want to go that premature, but I definitely think Florida State has got some expectations that are kind of heightening in terms of just getting back to where they once were. But
Yeah.
James, I really appreciate all the love and the support that you give me on my accounts as well. I appreciate everyone for watching the video today. Let me know some of your transfer additions that you think Florida State should make in terms of position. Let us know what you thought of the video and everything. And I really appreciate all the love and support. And go Noles.